1,000 investors betrayed by a real estate mogul they once trusted. I'm your host, and I've spent over a decade digging into financial fraud. This is the story the headlines didn't tell. In this video, you'll see how a trusted leader turned into a master manipulator, leading to the financial ruin of countless families and using psychological tactics to ensnare them. To protect the identities of those involved, names have been changed, but the story stays true. The FBI has nabbed several individuals involved in a real estate Ponzi scheme that defrauded over 1,000 investors. Source: FBI press release. The scheme, which pretended to be a legitimate investment opportunity, was meticulously planned and executed. It promised high returns and a secure future, but it only delivered devastation. Let's start with the mastermind behind this fraud, James Carter, a charismatic real estate mogul who built his empire on the backs of unsuspecting investors. Carter was known for his charm, his smooth talk, and his ability to make people feel like they were part of something special. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. But behind the shiny facade, Carter was running a Ponzi scheme. He used new investments to pay off earlier investors, creating the illusion of a profitable and sustainable business. Source: SEC Litigation Release. The first signs of trouble cropped up when some investors noticed irregularities in their accounts. They reached out to Carter, but he reassured them with promises of even greater returns just around the corner. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. As the scheme grew, so did the risk of exposure. The authorities, including the FBI and the SEC, started to investigate. They uncovered a web of lies, fake financial statements, and forged documents. Source: Department of Justice press release. The arrests came fast. Carter and his key lieutenants were taken into custody, but the damage was already done. Over 1,000 investors had lost their life savings, their retirement funds, and their peace of mind. Source: FBI press release. Meet Sarah Johnson, a retired schoolteacher who invested her entire life savings in Carter's real estate ventures. She was promised a secure future, but now she's left with nothing. "I trusted James with my life savings and he took it all," she said. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. Sarah's story isn't unique. John and Emily Thompson, a young couple with 2 kids, invested their home equity in the scheme. They thought they were securing a better future for their family, but now they're facing foreclosure. "We trusted him and he betrayed us," John said, his voice breaking. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. The emotional toll is just as heavy as the financial one. Investors who once felt secure and hopeful are now grappling with feelings of betrayal, anger, and despair. Source: Consumer Financial Protection Bureau press release. Carter's scheme wasn't just about money, it was about trust. He cultivated a persona of reliability and success, using his charm and charisma to win over his victims. He held lavish events, hosted seminars, and even published a book on real estate investing. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. But beneath the surface, Carter was a master manipulator. He used psychological tactics to keep investors hooked, convincing them that their investments were safe and that any concerns were unfounded. Source: SEC Litigation Release. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has taken action to protect consumers from this real estate Ponzi scheme. They're working to recover as much of the lost funds as possible, but the road to recovery is long and tough. Source: CFPB press release. As the investigation continues, more details are coming to light. Carter's empire was built on a foundation of lies, and the consequences are being felt by thousands. Source: Department of Justice press release. The story of 1,000 betrayed investors is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked greed and the importance of due diligence. It's a tale of trust exploited and lives upended. Source: FBI press release. In the coming minutes, we'll delve deeper into the mechanics of the scheme, the profiles of the victims, and the ongoing efforts to bring justice to those who have been wronged. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. Stay with us. The story is far from over. In the world of real estate, where fortunes can soar or crash, one scheme managed to dupe over 1,000 investors, leaving them with shattered dreams and empty wallets. This is the tale of a meticulously planned Ponzi scheme that masqueraded as legitimate real estate investments. The scheme started off innocuously, with the promise of high returns and secure investments. The mastermind, a charismatic real estate mogul, began by offering what seemed like legitimate investment opportunities through his company, which appeared to have a solid track record. High returns, low risk. The FBI has nabbed several individuals involved in this real estate Ponzi scheme that defrauded over 1,000 investors. Source: FBI press release. The Department of Justice announced the arrests of key figures in the scheme, emphasizing the scale and sophistication of the fraud. Source: Department of Justice press release. To gain trust, the mogul and his team used a mix of glossy marketing materials, high-profile events, and testimonials from seemingly happy investors. They created a facade of success, using initial profits to pay early investors, thus perpetuating the illusion of a thriving business. An in-depth investigation by the Investigative Reporting Workshop exposes the sophisticated methods used to deceive investors. The scheme involved complex financial transactions, shell companies, and carefully orchestrated accounting practices designed to hide the true nature of the business. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. Former employees and whistleblowers have come forward to shed light on the inner workings of the company. They describe a culture of secrecy, where questions were met with intimidation and any signs of dissent were quickly silenced. We were told to keep quiet or face consequences. One former employee said, "We were told to keep quiet or face consequences. The pressure was immense, and many of us felt powerless to stop what was happening." Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. A closer look at the financial documents and transactions reveals a stark contrast between the company's public image and its actual financial health. The SEC has filed charges against the individuals for operating a fraudulent real estate investment scheme, citing numerous instances of financial misrepresentation and embezzlement. Source: SEC Litigation Release. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has taken action to protect consumers from this real estate Ponzi scheme, highlighting the devastating impact on individual investors. Source: CFPB press release. At the heart of the scheme was the real estate mogul, a figure who exuded confidence and charm. He was a regular at high-profile events, mingling with the elite and using his connections to further the facade of legitimacy. He was like a modern-day wolf in sheep's clothing. "He was like a modern-day wolf in sheep's clothing," said one whistleblower. He knew exactly how to win people over and keep them invested, even when things started to fall apart. Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. The first signs of trouble began to emerge as early as 2018, when some investors noticed discrepancies in their returns. However, the company's rapid growth and the mogul's reassuring presence managed to quell most concerns. By 2020, the cracks were becoming more apparent. Investors reported delays in payments and discrepancies in their account statements. Some began to voice their concerns publicly, but the company responded with reassurances and promises of future returns. "We were promised our money back, but it never came. "We were promised our money back, but it never came," said an investor who lost his life savings. "It was a nightmare and we felt completely betrayed." Source: Investigative Reporting Workshop. As the scheme unraveled, more red flags emerged. The SEC's investigation uncovered a web of shell companies and off-the-books transactions designed to obscure the flow of funds. The company's financial statements were riddled with inaccuracies, and there was evidence of funds being diverted to personal accounts. The Department of Justice's press release detailed the extensive network of shell companies and the elaborate efforts to conceal the fraud. The defendants used a complex network of shell companies and off-the-books transactions to hide their fraudulent activities. The release stated: source: Department of Justice press release. The real estate Ponzi scheme is a stark reminder of the importance of due diligence and the risks of trusting too readily in charismatic leaders. As the investigation continues, the focus remains on bringing the perpetrators to justice and providing some measure of relief to the victims. For the over 1,000 investors who were betrayed, the road to recovery will be long and tough. But their stories serve as a cautionary tale, highlighting the need for vigilance in the world of high-stakes investments. Stay vigilant and always do your research. Stay tuned for the next segment, where we delve deeper into the legal ramifications and the ongoing efforts to hold the perpetrators accountable. The final straw that pushed the investigation and arrest came when a whistleblower, a former employee of the real estate company, handed over crucial evidence to the FBI. This insider's testimony exposed the intricate web of deceit that had been set up to defraud over 1,000 investors. The FBI, working alongside the Department of Justice, acted quickly. On a fateful morning, agents raided the offices of the real estate mogul, seizing documents and digital records. Soon after, several key figures, including the mastermind behind the scheme, were arrested. But how did this Ponzi scheme manage to deceive so many people? The psychological tactics were pretty darn clever. The fraudsters created an aura of legitimacy and trust, using sophisticated marketing strategies and carefully curated success stories to lure investors. They organized lavish events, promising high returns and a secure future. One investor, Sarah, shared her story. "I was at a seminar where they painted this picture of financial security. They showed us glossy brochures, testimonials, and even a video of happy investors. It was too good to be true, but I wanted to believe it." Sarah invested her life savings, only to lose everything. The scheme's success relied on the promise of consistent, high returns. Investors were told their money would be used to develop high-value properties, but in reality, much of it was funneled into personal accounts and used to pay earlier investors, keeping the illusion of profitability alive. The SEC filed charges against the individuals for operating a fraudulent real estate investment scheme. The charges included wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. The SEC's litigation release detailed the intricate network of shell companies and fake financial statements used to obscure the true nature of the investments. Another investor, Mark, recounted his experience. "They made it seem like a no-brainer. They had all the right credentials, the right connections. I even visited one of their properties and it looked legit. It wasn't until I started asking too many questions that they got suspicious and cut me off." The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also stepped in, emphasizing the need to protect consumers from such predatory practices. The CFPB's press release highlighted the importance of transparency and the red flags investors should watch out for, such as unrealistic returns and pressure to invest quickly. The real estate mogul, once a charismatic figure at the helm of a seemingly successful enterprise, was now facing the full weight of the law. During his arrest, he remained defiant, insisting he had done nothing wrong. But the evidence piled up, painting a clear picture of a man who had systematically defrauded thousands. The Investigative Reporting Workshop conducted an in-depth investigation that revealed the sophisticated methods used to deceive investors. The fraudsters employed a variety of tactics, from creating fake financial statements to staging events that showcased their supposed success. They even used social media to build a community of loyal followers, making it tough for potential red flags to be noticed. One of the most chilling aspects of the scheme was the way it preyed on the hopes and dreams of its victims. Many investors were middle-aged or elderly, looking for a secure retirement. They were promised a safe haven for their savings, only to find themselves in financial ruin. The arrest marked the beginning of the end for the real estate Ponzi scheme. The fallout was swift and severe. Investors who had lost everything demanded justice, and the authorities were determined to deliver. The arrests and subsequent legal proceedings sent a clear message. Financial fraud, no matter how sophisticated, will be met with the full force of the law. As the dust settled, the community was left to pick up the pieces. The psychological impact on the victims was profound. Many felt betrayed by the very people they had trusted with their financial futures. The real estate mogul's fall from grace was a stark reminder of the dangers of greed and the importance of due diligence. The climactic moment of the arrest and the fall of the scheme was a turning point. It not only brought a semblance of justice to the defrauded investors, but also served as a warning to others. The real estate Ponzi scheme had been exposed, and those responsible were held accountable. The aftershocks of this real estate Ponzi scheme have hit hard and wide. Over 1,000 investors, once hopeful for a better future, now face the bitter reality of betrayal. The community has taken a major hit. Families have lost their savings, businesses have gone under, and trust in local financial systems is at an all-time low. But there's a glimmer of hope in this darkness. The arrests and legal actions by the FBI, SEC, and Department of Justice show that the legal system can still stand strong. Source: FBI Press Release, SEC Litigation Release, Department of Justice Press Release. The case has also led to some much-needed regulatory changes. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is stepping up to protect consumers from similar scams down the line. Source: CFPB Press Release. This whole ordeal is a wake-up call about the importance of due diligence. Investors need to stay vigilant, ask tough questions, and double-check the legitimacy of investment opportunities. If you suspect any fraud, report it right away. Your action could save a lot of people from the same trap. As we look back at the rise and fall of the real estate mogul, let's not let the fraud define us. Instead, let's focus on our resilience and determination to protect our communities. The road to recovery is long, but together, we can rebuild and make sure these schemes are history. Let this be a call to action, a reminder to be more cautious, more informed, and more proactive in safeguarding our financial futures.